Hey, what's going on YouTube? MemphisMike. And today I am out on the super slab. Out on the super slab riding. And I thought an interesting topic or some food for thought if you're motorcycling on the interstate. One thing I want to discuss. I want to discuss to you, respect the truck driver. Respect the 18-wheeler driver. You know, these guys, they have a tough life. They have a hard job. You got independent truck drivers and you got ones for the company. They put long hours in, and there's nothing glorious about that job. You see them at the truck stop sometimes and they just look road worn. They've been driving 12, 13 hours, some maybe even more, but about 12, 13 hours is around the DOT legal limit. Some may actually exceed that, but let's don't really talk about that. But one thing I want to say about the truck driver is respect them. And when you're riding, I want to say give them space when you're riding. These guys in these 18-wheelers are hauling freight. These trucks are big. They do not stop on a dime. It's just a tough way to roll. I've only driven an 18-wheeler for 1 week in my life. At my job, I thought I wanted to switch to the over-the-road part, and I rode that big 18-wheeler. And you know what? At the end of the week, I decided, you know what? This is not for me. This is not for me. But I have a huge, large respect for the guys running across the road. So, one thing I wanted to say, or a few things. Give these guys space. Stay back. If you're behind an 18-wheeler, just like I am right now, this truck up in front of me, one thing I always want to do, I want to stay in the line of sight of that trucker's mirror right there. So that means I'm going to stay in the left third or the right third of the lane. I want to be visible. If I can't see his mirrors, then chances are he can't see me. So don't ride too close in the center of the lane and follow these guys too close. You got to give them space. Communicate in traffic with them. If you want to change lanes, communicate. If you're in front of them or behind them, communicate to them. When you get ready to pass a trucker, you need to go ahead and pass, because the last thing you want to do is hit that point where you're in their blind spot and they cannot see you for a brief second or two and they decide to change lanes. It might be a bad day for you. It just might be a bad day for you. So you want to give them space on everywhere. And I always want to be visible to these guys when I'm riding. Always. And I want to give them space. I don't want to crowd them. I want to stay out in front of them as much as I can, and I want to stay back as much as I can. You can't always control what's behind you, but you can control what's in front of you. So we're in a situation right here. Now I got two trucks in front of me, but you know what? I'm visible in this guy's mirror right up here. He can see me. So I want to give them space. A lot of times if they need to get to an exit, they just can't, they can't jump right over. And when they pass, they got to check their mirrors and decide, okay, is there enough space for me to pass in front of that motorcycle? If I see them wanting to change lanes, and by all means, I just back off and give them space, especially if I'm in the right lane. I don't want to, no sense in me trying to pass them on the right lane. But like this truck right here, I'm going to signal, let him know, hey, I'm coming in front of you. On the interstate, I like to usually maintain the speed limit, maybe 5 over at best. Sometimes you get in congested traffic, you might have to either bump it up or, excuse me, just fall back. So that's one thing I just want to tell you. Respect the truck driver. Give them plenty of room when you're riding, because like I say, these guys put in long days. They have a stressful job running that big rig on the super slab. And the other thing, you as a motorcyclist, it's a much more pleasant ride when you keep your space between you and the truck, because the buffeting of air coming off that truck, especially if they pass you, you always feel that backdraft hit you really hard. Man, it'll just shake you around when it does. And you know, one other thing, really a good time if you want to pass them is when you start that incline or they're chugging up a hill. They get in the kind of the mountain hill area. When they hit that hill, they're going to bog down just a little bit. So that's probably a good time to go ahead and pass. But then when you start going downhill, that big old truck is going to be rolling. It is going to be rolling. And they can't stop on a dime. They get on a 3% to 5% grade. Whew, that's a lot of weight to try and stop. So give them space. Be smart when you're around them. Hey, you know what? If you're a trucker and that's your occupation, that's what you do, drop me a comment here and tell me some things that irritate you about traffic when you're on the interstate. Give me some tips and info from your point of view from the big rig. I'd really appreciate that. I got one coming up on my side right here. Coming up on my side. I'm going to let him just go on and pass. And I'm going to get ready for that backdraft. He'll probably catch me over here in this lane as well. A little bit, but not too bad. See, just give them space. Give them space. Let them go ahead. It's just good for you to stay back and see it all. Just remember, too, an incident between a motorcycle and a tractor trailer, you will never win. For that matter, an incident between an automobile and a tractor trailer in an accident, the car is not going to win. You're not going to win. And the other thing is, if they blow a tire tread and they blow a flat and they have a flat tire, and that flat tire tread flies off and hits you on that bike, you're doing 70, 80 miles an hour down the interstate, that thing hits you, it's going to be like a Scud missile. And you're going to have a bad day. A real bad day. The other thing, too, if you do follow too close, you can't see around them. You know, something may happen on the other lane as well. See, like these guys here again, I'm gonna go ahead and blow on by them so I can get out in front, give them some space. I'm gonna signal on over, let them know I'm getting back. So that's all I want to say. When you're on the super slab, respect the truck driver. Give them plenty of room, guys. They move us freight and everything across America, well, across the world, really. And we need to take care of them and watch out for them. I want to make their job and their ride much easier when they're on the interstate. That's all I want to share with you today. This is Memphis Mike. I'm out on the super slab, I-40 westbound, headed back to Memphis. And man, this is a busy strip for 18-wheelers to be running. I will see you later. Be sure and hit the like button. Be sure and hit the subscribe button. Even hit that little bell for notifications, if you would, when I post the new videos. I will see you later. Thanks.